All right, good Thursday evening. Here we go. We've been talking about lots of weather changes on the way. This is the first step. We've got thunderstorms pushing across Arkansas and eastern Oklahoma. There's been a really strong batch of thunderstorms in the extreme southern and southeastern River Valley. Some of it even just out of 5 country, headed towards Russellville and Conway. There's a new severe thunderstorm warning that does clip parts of Scott County. But before we zoom in really quick, I want to show you off towards the west. This is probably the final round of thunderstorms. So we've got this batch that's skimming 5 country, got some hail in it. There's also a little bit of rotation, but the rotation is a bit higher up in the thunderstorm. If the storm can lower that, then we'll have to talk a little bit more about tornado potential with some of these cells. But most of these are going to be south and east of the River Valley, just kind of skimming south of Mount Magazine. Something to watch for. Northwest Arkansas, I got a couple of thunderstorms just kind of passing on through. But this is the first round that's pushing through. And then there's another round here off towards the west, just coming out of Tulsa. These storms will push east. These will clip Northwest Arkansas pretty decently. These may not be severe. We'll track them. It's in some colder air, but there could still be some lightning. That's been one thing. There's been a decent amount of lightning with these storms because there's some hail in these storms. That's the primary risk. This storm is mainly causing some hail there on the southeastern corner of Scott County and tracking east there eventually into Yell and Pope counties. But then you look off towards the west, there could also be a little bit of hail just north and east of Tulsa. This one will also have a little bit of hail. These are headed eastbound. Some of these, the hailstones are a little bit smaller. This hailstorm right now is just about quarter size, so definitely something you got to watch out for just south and east of Scott County. Let's go ahead and zoom in just a little bit more. Right now, most of us are kind of in a break. We've had some strong thunderstorms already push on through. We haven't been on certain live streams really because it's just been a lot of heavy rain and rumbles of thunder. Nothing that we can't handle, but in January, it just kind of makes you perk your ears up just a little bit more. But those are pushing out. We've had little baby hailstones in some of these when we're talking maybe about pea size. It's not enough to really do damage. But we had some in Poto, we had some in Fort Smith. Those are now exiting, heading into the mountains and then eventually towards Missouri. These storms are a little bit stronger. I'm going to go ahead and switch a couple things for you. Thanks for joining us on our platforms. We're live on not just Facebook, but on our 5+ app and the 5 News app on your phone. All that good stuff. So I'm going to move a couple different things. Let's go ahead and switch over to hail. This is the reason why the storm was activated in the first place. You're looking, the hail core is just outside of our traditional 5 News viewing area, but I just wanted to track it a little bit because it's fairly close. There's Lake Ouachita. You can see Mountain Pine and Hot Springs there, Mount Ida, Ouachita itself. This is staying just outside of Scott County, but we've also, you can kind of see some of the gray popping up too. There's one hail core, but then there's these little mini pockets where a couple small little pieces of hail could be thrown out. So don't be surprised if you get some of those at times as well in the Southern River Valley. Here's where the rain is, pushing mainly now into Yell County and then Pope County. We've got Russellville, Danville, Gravely. We were getting some of that heavy rain. There was also some winds with these. Let me show you what those are looking like right now. When you're looking at these, you're watching that wind pretty much gust pretty quickly off towards the east. There's a little bit of rotation in some of these. So far, not enough rotation to cause a tornado threat, but rotation enough that you can help keep the updrafts and the downdrafts separated, which helps your hail to try to form just a little bit more. So I know that's kind of getting the nitty gritty, but this is one reason why we do have hail, because there's just enough rotation to help support hail not getting too waterlogged. But if this rotation strengthens any more, then there could possibly be a lower tornado threat eventually downstream, something that we'll watch, but probably just staying out of 5 country because this thing is mainly headed just due north and east, there towards Danville and Rover, eventually towards Atkins and Morrilton, Russellville. You guys will be on the look of this one. Let me see if I can get a path on this. I'm going to read a couple things from the National Weather Service really quick. You may see it pop up as well. All right, so this thing is moving. The latest speed indicated by radar is about 35 miles per hour. Got that quarter-sized hail. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to track this, update it with 35 to our tracker. Got to do the num lock. There we go. National Weather Service updating where that storm is because it's already left the southern edge, so reissuing that warning. But you can see there towards Chula 951, Bluffton 1005, Plainview 1033, getting closer to 1045 or so for Danville. But Pettigene, we're talking about close to 11 o'clock, maybe a couple moments before 11 o'clock. and Russellville just after 11 o'clock, 11:15 to 11:18 or so, coming towards us. But that's a little bit to the east, so we'll watch that. But then back west, we're watching some of these storms coming out of Tulsa. So far, there's a little bit of wind here on the south side. Not as much wind there off towards the north. I'll show you what I'm talking about with just the rainfall. Mainly, this is just heavy rain at the moment. A couple lightning strikes. Usually where you see the lightning strikes is where it's a little bit stronger in the storm. Sometimes you have a couple hail pockets there too. If there is any hail, it's super tiny. But you see Oologah, there's Chelsea. Everything's kind of moving close to I-44. They're tracking just a little bit farther north at a time. So this is the line that'll hit us next. So kind of timing this out very, very roughly, because this may speed up just a little bit or slow down just a touch. And it's not all one line, so take that with a grain of salt. But generally, crossing in towards the state line, they're about 11 to midnight or so. And then getting into the metros in northwest Arkansas, you can see the time, Bentonville and Fayetteville, a little bit before midnight or just after midnight. And Fort Smith coming in just a little bit after midnight too. It looks like there's some cells trying to pop up. So far they haven't done much. Look at this cell. It had lightning on it for a second, and I'm not sure, I don't think it has any more lightning on it. So usually when you see lightning, that stays consistent or the lightning grows. Storm is healthy. This is just kind of a rain cell just passing off towards the east right now. The rest of 5 country, looking at some of these cells in eastern, northeastern Franklin County, parts of northeastern Johnson County, rain pushing off, but still some good downpours out there and some rumbles of thunder. We've been watching some of those rumbles of thunder throughout the past couple of hours. See if I can pull up some of our cameras here. I'd moved the cameras in Ozark and in Fort Smith. Nope. Yeah, one more thing. See how this pops up. There we go. So you're looking at Fort Smith. This is from the Arkansas Colleges of Health Education. You're looking back now towards Oklahoma. So we had some thunderstorms out there a little bit earlier. Those are the cells that went through Fort Smith with some of that heavy rain. See some of those low clouds. And also what's kind of interesting too is there's some lightning way off in the distance. You're looking towards that cell. There's some more too. You're looking at some of these cells that are headed towards Conway and Russellville here very shortly. But the winds are pretty strong, not just at the ground, but look at how fast these clouds are moving up above coming at us. So we've got very windy conditions at all levels of the atmosphere. A lot of them are out of the south and southeast right now, ahead of this cold front that's on the way to help provide the moisture and the heat for this low pressure. But there's low pressure now moving into western parts of Oklahoma and northwest Texas there in the panhandles. Looks like we got a couple new severe thunderstorm warnings out towards the south. Let's see. So this would be headed on towards Big Fork and Mount Ida. Let's see if the speed is about the same. A little bit faster at 40 miles per hour. But this would be for northwestern Pike County. It would be east central Polk County, southwestern Yell County, and then even portions of Montgomery County. This one lasts until 10 o'clock. So for now, we're watching this little highway of thunderstorms develop, but then just kind of stay in the same spots and moving northeast. For a few folks, we could get some really decent rainfall just outside of 5 country there in parts of Yell County and Pope County where you got more storms in there. They are moving east, but they're really kind of funneling in over some of the same locations. So kind of the highway that just stays just outside of 5 country. They're in the River Valley and definitely northwest Arkansas. But then there's this next line coming in. So far, just rain and thunder. If this starts to get gnarlier, we'll let you know. We'll track it as it comes in, but we just want to give you a quick update. If you do see some alerts out there for severe thunderstorm warnings, some of them are clipping eastern Scott County, but it looks like the hail threat has pretty much moved out. I'll show you the hail threat one more time. Let's see, let's do this. Yeah, this shows you the hail threats as they move and evolve over time. Looks like that one there in coming into southwestern Yell County is already weakening just a little bit. We dumped a little hail there for a second. That's when we got that warning out. The storm off towards the south, just outside of Mena, has had some hail in it too. That's an old scan. You can see kind of the new. I know it gets kind of tough. I can eliminate all the old stuff. This is just the new stuff. So you can see how they evolve over time and dissipate. This storm has a threat for some hail. Doesn't mean the hail core will be consistent the whole time. A lot of times you kind of get this cycling effect where you dump some hail, give the atmosphere a second, and then it'll dump some more hail, especially in these kind of borderline storms. We've had some hailstorms that just slam folks for miles and miles, but these aren't robust enough. I mean, it is January. It's a little bit tougher for us to get enough heat and energy. The farther south and east you go, the more energy we've had. So that's why so far everything's kind of just outside of 5 country. Here's an overall loop over the past, let's say, 3 hours. I'm going to speed this up just a little bit too. So you can see where we've had some rain so far. We had those storms come right over Kavanaugh Hill, come into Fort Smith, right over downtown, out towards Fort Chaffee. We had some of those storms, especially there at the gate there closer to Alma and Fort Smith and Barling. But there's the rain pushing east, getting clipped in 5 country. We've got more cells back off towards the west. So in a little bit, we'll probably hop back on and give you more updates. We've got our newscast, of course, coming at 10, so you can get more updates there. We'll track those storms. They won't be here yet, but they'll be certainly getting closer. And so by 10 o'clock, we'll have even maybe a better timeline for you on when they'll arrive in your backyard. And then here's the thing. We've got snow chances coming up for tomorrow morning because eventually we'll change these storm chances and shower chances. You can kind of see everything in steps. See, we've got thunderstorms now, and we've got maybe one more line. So thunderstorms now and thunderstorms for another 3 hours or so. Then you've got central Oklahoma coming at us with some light rain. Nothing too crazy, but keep the roads wet. And then you got the snow shower activity. Not as consistent. You're seeing some of these bands start to balloon just a little bit as low pressure deepens. But you can see the 3 steps that coming. Overnight tonight, after midnight, we'll just get this for a while. But then right around 6, 7 o'clock, that cold front's going to swing through. And it's not just a cold front that gets us close to freezing. We'll have temperatures in the 40s, possibly at 4 a.m. By 6 a.m., we're next to freezing. And for some of us, by 8 or 9 o'clock, we're in the low to mid 20s. That's how quickly temperatures are going to drop. Some of us may stay in those low and mid 20s. Some of us, especially in the river valley, should rebound a bit into at least maybe upper 20s, maybe a couple low 30s. But because of that threat, and especially if you get some water on the roads, now we've got some water in Fort Smith, we've got some water in Poteau. Northwest Arkansas hasn't gotten anything, but that could change here shortly once we dump some water here soon with these cells coming in from eastern Oklahoma. You make the roads damp, there could be some flash freezing by tomorrow mid and late morning as temperatures just drop like a rock. So that's one thing that's different. You may not get a lot of snow. We're expecting a dusting, maybe up to an inch. Remember, the key word is up to. Many of us may not get anything like that. Maybe it's kind of a trace. We'll see how that plays out. Check in with meteorologist Zach Scott. He'll show you tomorrow morning those snow bands as they're coming in, and we'll have crews out all morning long to show you what's actually happening to help plan your day. And of course, we've got a lot of school closings, a lot of big school closings, especially in Northwest Arkansas. But we'll let you know how things are actually evolving. But then later in the morning, even after our newscasts, things could flash freeze as temperatures drop very quickly. So watch out for that, especially if your road's wet in the morning. May not be good a little bit later. Doesn't mean the whole road's going to freeze over, but there could be some slick and ice patches that do develop at times, especially bridges and overpasses. We'll continue to watch the severe threat. Lots of storms just coming out into central Arkansas, coming right over Lake Ouachita, headed in towards Russellville and Conway, Little Rock. We'll eventually be on the receiving end of these. Most of us in 5 country have to wait till this line is through. Once this line, and it may grow a little bit more towards the south, you're seeing some of these cells try to grow over time. So don't be surprised if this kind of thing grows a little bit more. We get hit one more time, and then the severe threat is done. Make sure you keep it here. Keep it local. As always, we'll keep you advised.